What is editing? Editing is the process of manipulating and rearranging video shots to create a new piece of work. Editing is usually done in post-production after the filming is completely finished. Some of the goals of editing, some of the things that you can do with editing, include removing unwanted footage, choosing the best footage for the film, and adding effects like graphics, music, or other things, like transitions or explosions. When film first began, editing was a long and tedious process, as the editors would actually have to physically look through the film reel and then cut out the pieces of the film they did not want, hence the term cut. Today, we edit all of our stuff digitally on a computer. This is a lot easier, as any parts that you delete or cut out can easily be put back in if you think you've made a mistake, or any parts that you've put in and want to take out can easily be taken out. Continuity editing is where the filmmaker tries to make the film's reality as close to the viewer's reality as possible. This is to help the audience comprehend the action that is taking place on screen as it recreates what happens within the world around us. It is also a cutting style that maintains a sense of continuous space and time. Some techniques within continuity editing can be things like eyeline match, match on action, and shot reverse shot, all while following the 180-degree rule. D.W. Griffith was the first director to use this style of editing while working on the film Greaser's Gauntlet in 1908 for the film company Biograph. Griffith used the cut-in technique where he started with a medium long shot of a hanging tree to a full shot in the middle of the scene of two people talking. This can fall under rhythmic or spatial editing. In this clip from The Matrix by the Wachowski brothers in 1999, we see Neo in a side shot slowly opening his coat jacket, and then it cuts to a clip of him from the front, still as he's opening his coat. This seamless transition is what's known as continuity, and makes the cut almost invisible. Cross-cutting or parallel editing is a technique where action is taking place in two or more places simultaneously. Sometimes the action will finish in the same place after a build-up of fast cuts. E.S. Porter was the first director to use this style of editing in his 1903 film Life of an American Fireman, where Porter took stock footage of firemen rushing to stop a fire and cut it together with stage shots of people in a house on fire. This created a fictional narrative, connecting the two halves together even though they never actually came into contact with each other. A film that also does this is Silence of the Lambs, directed by Dem in 1991. In this scene, we see a SWAT team getting ready to storm a house and Buffalo Bill inside going through his confrontation with the girl. The cutting between these two shots builds tension until we eventually find out that they were at the wrong house, and a sense of fear takes over. The jump cut is a transition where the action seems to jump due to how similarly the two shots were framed. Many people believe that the French New Wave began this style of editing with the film Breathless in 1960, while others believe it was a French magician named Georges Méliès. After watching the Lumiere brothers films in the late 1980s, Méliès began to record his own films and used them in his magic shows. However, while filming one day, his camera jammed, and after developing the film, he discovered that the film jumped from before it jammed to after he fixed it in a second. In 1896, Méliès made the film The Haunted Castle, in which he used jump cuts to create appearing and disappearing effects. Breathless, directed by Jean-Luc Godard, was however one of the first to use it to just skip forward in time. In 2003, Chan-wook Park directed the film Old Boy. In the film, the main character Dae-soo-oh gets arrested and he has to stay in the police station overnight. The film uses jump cuts to show the time passing and the things he does there for comic effect. Montage editing is a technique that takes a number of small clips and quickly cuts them together to show a long period of in-film time in a short on-screen series of clips. This is often accompanied by music. In 1917, Russian filmmakers discovered that showing people certain clips would generate a certain reaction. This revelation then inspired filmmakers Dziga Vertov and Sergei Eisenstein to create propaganda videos during the Russian Revolution. The most famous montage sequence is Odysseus Steps from the movie Battleship Potemkin in 1925 by Eisenstein, where civilians are being shot down by Tsarist troops. Today, montages are used mostly in sports or fighting films to show someone getting better and better quickly. In Never Back Down, the 2008 film by Wadlow, they use it for that exact purpose. In the clip, the protagonist, Jake Tyler, is training in mixed martial arts to compete in an underground fight club. Repeated shots of him throwing cinder blocks and doing push-ups are shown, with him getting stronger and stronger every time. Slow motion can be used for anything from action to comedy. Slow motion can also highlight the emotions of people very well, as you get to see the full range of movement in their faces, and it can either be very funny or heartbreaking. In Drive, directed by Refn in 2011, there is a scene in an elevator where the character known as Driver kisses Irene and then brutally kills the third man in the elevator. The scene ends with a long slow motion stare that shows the shock and horror of what he just did. Slow motion faces can also be used for comedic effect. The intro of Zombieland in 2009 by Felicia has zombies running after people in slow motion. The faces of the people and the scenarios that are put forward are amusing to look at and surprisingly true to what would happen in an actual outbreak. The cut transition is the most common type of transition, where the scene is quickly replaced by another. This type of cut is used universally throughout film. The dissolve or crossfade is a gradual fade from one shot to the next. This is used to create a more relaxed mood or to simply slow down the pace of the video. The fade transition is when a scene goes to or from a single colour, usually black or white. These are usually used to indicate the beginning or the end of a scene.